Have you ever stopped to think about what it really takes to get, true mastery or deep insight? Is it just piling up knowledge, skills, stuff? Or is there maybe another way, something inward?
That's a great question.
Today we're doing a deep dive into this amazing old story. It's got some surprisingly modern relevance, actually. It comes from Rumi's The Masnavi, Book 1.
Right. And the Masnavi is, well, it's just monumental, a cornerstone of Sufi wisdom. This branch of Islam focus on that inner journey, experiencing truth directly. It's this huge tapestry of stories packed with insights. So today we're aiming to pull out the core lessons from one particular story and see how they connect to our lives right now.
Exactly. So the plan for this deep dive, we're going to unpack this really fascinating story Rumi tells about a painting contest. It's between the Chinese and the Greeks.
The classic setup.
We'll look at the layers, the symbols, the metaphors, and really dig into the spiritual lessons about personal growth, learning, even just how we see the world day to day.
That's good.
Okay, so how does this whole contest kick off? It starts with both sides claiming they're the best artists around. The Chinese say, at art, we're the best.
Naturally.
And the Greeks fire back, with more talent, we've been blessed. So this sultan steps in to settle it. He gives them each a room, side by side.
Two halves of a pear, as Rumi says.
Yeah.
Totally fair.
Yeah, completely fair. And right away, their different ways of thinking just, boom, become obvious.
It's striking, isn't it? Their very first requests tell you everything about their approach. The Chinese, they gear up to paint their room, and what do they ask for?
Lots of paint.
Loads of it. Rumi even points out the king was super generous. Like, each dawn from his own storehouse, men would bring more paint for them.
Right, gifts from the king.
So that really tells you where their focus is, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's all about the materials, the external stuff, the visible act of making something. It's like they figured the more tools, the more resources, the more input you have, the better the final thing will be. And, that's such a common human thing, isn't it?
Oh, totally. We often think accumulating more stuff, more data, more techniques automatically equals a better outcome or, deeper understanding.
Yeah, we really do.
But then you look at the Greeks, and they go in a completely opposite direction. Radically different.
It's amazing.
When it's their turn, they say something pretty startling. They just announce, colorful paints will not prove successful colors what we must remove.
Wow. Okay, so no paint needed.
Not a drop. Which is a huge statement right there.
It really is. It's so counterintuitive. They just seal off their room, go inside, and instead of adding anything, they just polish.
That's it. Rumi says they polished every wall, clear as the heavens up above us all. It wasn't about creating something new in the usual sense. It was about purification, getting to ultimate clarity.
Okay, polishing.
And this leads Rumi to this really profound metaphor, explaining why they chose to remove instead of add. Okay, he writes, color to colorlessness can change quite soon. Color's a cloud, colorlessness the moon.
Color's a cloud, colorlessness the moon.
If in the clouds some radiance should appear, it's from the sun and moon that it shines here. See, it's not just about paint on a wall. It's about seeing past the surface stuff.
Right.
The big insight is that real radiance, real beauty, or real understanding, it doesn't come from the superficial cloud of adding things on top.
Okay.
It comes from something underneath.
Yeah.
A clear source, the moon or sun, that can only shine through when the surface is clean, receptive. It's that uncovering, not covering up.
Covering, not covering. Got it. So, scene is set. Chinese painting, like mad, layering on colors. Greeks are just polishing silently.
Patiently.
Then comes the big reveal, the moment of truth.
Yep.
So first, the Sultan goes into the Chinese room, and the poem says he was just blown away. The paintings were so fine that stunned him, for their beauty was so rare.
You can just imagine it, right?
Yeah.
The vibrancy, the detail.
Totally. They poured everything into it, all those paints. And the result was, undeniably spectacular, something amazing to look at.
Yeah, the Chinese definitely produced something externally beautiful. A real testament to their skill with outward creation, adding, elaborating. Visually impressive.
But here's where it gets really interesting. After seeing that masterpiece, the Sultan goes next door to the Greek room.
Okay.
And the Greeks, they just quickly raised the screen in front. No grand display. And what he sees, it isn't a new painting. It's something else entirely.
What was it?
It was the reflection. The image of that work, which was so fine, reflected on the walls that they'd made shine.
Wow.
Whatever he'd seen there shone on each wall. Out of their sockets, eyes began to fall.
Okay, hold on. Out of their sockets, eyes began to fall. That's intense. How could a reflection be more stunning than the original amazing painting?
Exactly. That's the core question, isn't it?
Rumi's description there, it's not just poetic flair. It suggests something profound, almost overwhelming in its clarity.
Yeah.
The Greeks hadn't made anything new. They'd perfected a mirror.
A perfect mirror.
And that perfect mirror allowed for this boundless, unfiltered view. Maybe even more impactful than the original itself. It wasn't about what they added. It was the purity of what they reveal. The insight, I think, is that when you truly clean up your inner space, you can see the world with this incredible, unblemished clarity, reflecting reality way more profoundly.
And Rumi flat out tells us, and this isn't just about art, it goes way deeper spiritually. He says the Greeks stand for the Sufis, clearly.
Right, so the whole story becomes an allegory.
Yeah, for a spiritual path.
Yeah.
About how you find real insight, real knowledge, that deep connection.
Exactly. Rumi explains that Sufis, like those Greeks, they don't primarily lean on external stuff, like techniques from books of theory. They're not trying to just hoard information or follow rigid practices. Their method is deeply internal. They cleanse their breasts so well that they shine bright, free from all singiness, desire, and spite.
Cleansing the breast, so removing the negative stuff.
Yeah, it highlights that intense inner work, that conscious, constant effort to purify yourself from negativity, attachments, ego tricks. It's all about removing, stripping away, not adding more layers.
Okay, so this inner cleaning, this polishing.
Yeah.
What's the ultimate goal?
Well, according to Rumi, it serves this incredibly profound purpose. He says the heart, when purified, becomes a mirror with such purity, it can reflect forms from eternity.
Forms from eternity.
Yeah. It's not just a nice way of saying clarity. He's suggesting a truly polished heart can reflect truth that's boundless, unlike art. It goes beyond time, space, beyond any physical or mental limits.
So like a painting is stuck in its frame, right? It's limited.
But a perfect mirror. It reflects everything, boundlessly.
That makes sense.
And Rumi even gives this powerful example. Moses, he says, such a pure image shone through the hand of Moses from his heart.
From his heart.
Yeah, it wasn't about learned skills or external power. It shows that real spiritual insight flows from that purified inner state. Then he contrasts, finite physical things. Forms the heavens even can't contain, nor throne nor ocean, for they're all numbered and delimited.
Right. Everything physical has limits.
But then he says the heart is different. While hearts are one and they're unlimited, suggesting a perfected human heart can actually hold and reflect truths far bigger than anything physical or intellectual.
Unlimited hearts. That's a powerful idea. He takes it even further, doesn't he? With some lines that really make you stop.
Oh, yeah. Like the brain falls silent here or goes astray. The heart's with God or is God in some way.
Whoa, that's pretty mystical.
It is. It points to this direct, unmediated connection that's possible through the purified heart. He's saying only through this polished inner mirror can that eternal reflection show up without a veil across its face.
No veil. Direct seeing?
Direct experience, yeah. Bypassing all the usual mental filters and limits. It's knowing, not just thinking about knowing.
So what are these polishers like, the people who walk this path?
Well, Rumi describes their qualities. When someone flees all colors, the worldly distractions, attachments, all that surface noise, they can then, each breath, see what is beautiful and good.
Seeing beauty in every breath.
They move beyond the husk of knowledge, past just collecting facts, to what he calls true certainty. They've genuinely seen the light. He says they see the sea's depths and their breaths they keep in sight.
Seeing the depths and keeping sight of themselves sounds like deep self-awareness.
And understanding universal truth, seeing beyond the surface of things.
And what really jumps out is how they view death.
Oh, absolutely. Rumi says, of death all other men are running scared. To mock and laugh at it, these men have dared.
Mocking death, that's bold.
It's not about being morbid. It's profound fearlessness. Born from that true certainty, he uses that great metaphor. The pearl is not harmed, only its mere shell.
Ah, the pearl and the shell.
They get that their true essence, the pearl, isn't touched by physical death, which only affects the temporary shell, the body, the ego. That understanding frees them from the fear that grips most people.
That makes sense. Freedom from fear.
And that freedom goes further. They operate transcending grammar, law, theology. Their insight isn't bound by human rules or doctrines or intellectual systems.
Beyond the usual frameworks.
And their chosen way, Rumi says, is self-effacement, poverty. Which isn't necessarily about having no money.
Right, it's more like spiritual humility.
Exactly. Detachment from worldly stuff, ego, needing validation. It's the ultimate stripping away to achieve that boundless clarity we talked about.
Okay, so we've gone through this whole allegory. What does it boil down to for you listening right now? How can you maybe start polishing your own mirror day to day?
That's the real question, isn't it?
Maybe it starts with looking at the colors, the distractions, the attachments, the endless things we chase that might be clouding up that clearer reflection inside, that inner heart mirror.
Yeah, and the challenge is our world constantly pushes the Chinese approach. Right?
Okay.
Add more, get more, consume more.
Totally. More info, more stuff, more likes.
Yeah.
That's supposed to make us happy.
But Rumi's wisdom flips that. It suggests real insight, real fulfillment, comes from the opposite direction.
Yeah.
From having the courage to see what needs to be removed, refined, polished away. It's a pretty radical shift.
It really is. It makes you think, what paints are we constantly slathering on when maybe we should be polishing? Maybe it's not about learning the next new thing, but just refining your focus, clearing out old assumptions to see what's already there.
Letting the inherent clarity shine through.
Wow. We've covered a lot today, haven't we? From a simple painting contest all the way to this deep spiritual allegory about inner work and reflecting truth.
It's amazing how these ancient stories hold such timeless, practical wisdom.
Yeah.
And the core lesson is really transformative, I think. That true wisdom, deep perception, it isn't about getting more on the outside.
Right.
It's about refining what's inside. Diligently clearing away the colors, distractions, ego, attachments. Only then can that inner mirror really shine, letting you see the world and deeper truths with fresh, unfiltered eyes.
So maybe something to think about this week. What colors, what external chases, what worries, what habits might you be holding on to? What could be clouding that clearer, boundless reflection within your own heart mirror?
What might you see if you focused on polishing, just for a bit, instead of painting?
A great question to ponder. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into Rumi's incredible wisdom today.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
We really hope it gave you something profound to think about, maybe a slightly different lens for your own journey.